Hi, grade 5. So this week we are reading a persuasive article in the literature anthology textbook. You have a quiz on the case of the missing bees on Sunday. So what is a persuasive article again? We said in our online Zoom session that persuasive articles try to convince readers to support an idea or a position. The authors of these persuasive articles usually state their points of view clearly, and then they support their position, or they support their opinion with facts and details. Persuasive articles have text features such as headings and charts, and we're going to look at these text features today. Our essential question for this week is, how do natural events and human activities affect the environment? So we're going to be reading two views about how natural events and human activities have affected honeybee colonies, or the honeybee population. Or both articles are about cause and effect relationships that are discussed in relation to the problem of the decreasing honeybee population. All right, so our first article is called A Germ of an Idea. So this author believes that an infection seems to have caused the decline of honeybee populations. Now, declined is one of our vocabulary words. What do we say declined means? If or when something declines, this means that it grows weaker, or in this case, it grows smaller in number. All right, so today we're reading about how the honeybee population has declined, has decreased, and why. So we're looking for, so this author is going to give us their, or why they believe that the honeybee population is decreasing. Where have all the honeybees gone? Over the past few years, billions of honeybees have disappeared. They fly away from their colonies and seem to never return. This widespread problem is called the colony collapse disorder. It's the main reason the honeybee population in the US today has declined to half of what it was 50 years ago. Because 1/3 of crops in the US require honeybees to help pollinate them, some experts predict CCD could create an agricultural catastrophe. What's responsible for this unexpected disappearance? There are several suspects, including stress on bees from overcrowded hives, lack of pollen, parasites, and pesticides. Scientists have yet to identify any one of these as the definite cause of CCD. But recently, researchers have found two probable causes: a fungus and a virus. A fungus is an organism that breaks down matter. Some fungi can cause infection. A virus is a microbe or a germ. So the author thinks that some possible causes of the problem of the declining honeybee population, he thinks the possible causes include a fungus, a virus, pesticides, and parasites. All right, and here he defines he defines a fungus and a virus. Pesticides are substances that are meant to control pests. All right, so to keep something unwanted away. And a parasite is an organism that lives in or on another organism of another species and benefits by taking nutrients from this, this other organism. But the author believes that it's most likely a combination of both a fungus and a virus that is causing this. A deadly combination. Bees infected with either the fungus or the virus separately could become sick, but they probably would survive. Bees infected with the fungus and the virus at the same time would most certainly die. That is what scientists who did research in Montana concluded. They tested samples of empty hives against hives that thrive or that do well, a control group that was unaffected by CCD. They compared their findings and discovered the virus and fungus in every empty hive they tested. Though the fungus and virus combination is the most probable cause so far, investigations into CCD continue. So this is what it is most likely being caused by, the deadly combination of both a fungus and a virus. Other scientists are investigating whether CCD could have been caused by a combination of many factors: pesticides, parasites, fungus, and virus. Each of these can weaken a bee's immune system and make it sick. A combination could be deadly. Only when scientists find the cause of CCD can they find the cure to saving the bees. All right, so here we have features of a persuasive article. We know this is a persuasive article because we have an opinion, right? The opinion is that an infection seems to have caused the decline of honeybee populations, and we have claims that are supported by facts and studies. There is evidence, right? And this is an important feature of a persuasive article. Your opinion must be backed up by facts and evidence, right? It explains the idea here that the author believes a combination of a virus and fungus is what causes CCD, or what causes colony collapse disorder. All right, on the next page, we have a counterpoint. This is this is another point of view pointing to pesticides. Lately, honeybees have not been very busy. Are pesticides to blame? So again, remember, I just told you a pesticide is a substance that is used to kill pests. It's a honey of a mystery. In recent years, beekeepers in many countries have lost thousands of colonies and billions of bees. The insects would suddenly disappear and not return to their hives. This condition, called colony collapse disorder, or CCD, has caused 20 to 40% of U.S. honeybee colonies to die out. Unfortunately, the reduction in the bee population could affect the country's food production. That's because honeybees pollinate crops of flowering plants. Without these insects, the production of fruits and vegetables would be threatened. Now look at the top of the page. It says here, farmers use pesticides to keep away insects that will damage crops. Some pesticides can harm beneficial insects like honeybees. The unusual suspects. Most scientists believe the probable cause of CCD is a fungus or a virus, working alone or in combination. But some experts have reached a different conclusion. Their main suspect is pesticides. Pesticides are chemicals sprayed on crops to keep away pests. Researchers in France managed to identify one pesticide as harmful to bees. This has led other scientists to investigate how other pesticides affect bees. Pesticides can be absorbed by pollen that the bees consume or that drifts into the hive. Some studies have shown that even small amounts of certain pesticides can affect bee behavior, such as how they search for flower nectar. Sick bees may not be able to figure out where they're going, get lost, and never return to their colonies. This would explain the decline in honeybee populations. Are pesticides to blame? A study of hives hit by CCD in Florida and California found 50 different human-made chemicals in the samples. The study could not confirm that the pesticides had directly caused CCD, but other scientists are still investigating whether pesticides are at least partly to blame. At the least, the chemicals may weaken bees enough to allow infection by a virus or a fungus. Until scientists know the exact cause of the honeybee disappearance, the use of these harsh poisons should be cut back. So here, which details do we have? How do we know that this author believes, other than, of course, the title, how do we know that the author believes that pesticides are to blame for the decline in the honeybee population? The author writes that researchers found one pesticide that is harmful to bees. We know that even small amounts of pesticides can affect bees' behavior. It can make them sick, and the sick bees might get lost and not know how to return to the colony. And scientists found 50 different chemicals in hives that were affected by CCD. So this author's point of view is that pesticides, and this is in the last line of the text, pesticides should be cut back because they may cause CCD. So let's go back to the essential question. Our essential question was, how do natural events and human activities affect the environment? So here we have an example of natural events. This is the fungi and the viruses. These are naturally occurring, and they might cause honeybee colonies to die, which would greatly affect the agricultural industry. And then on the other hand, in the second article, we have human activities, okay, such as spraying pesticides. This might have the same effect on the honeybees.